Hi there guys, welcome to another Info Agent video. I'm Chris Alanisys, a real estate agent based in Sydney, New South Wales, and today we're going to be answering a very popular question when it comes to the ins and outs of selling a property. What does a real estate agent do? If you're thinking about selling your property, you may be wondering what the role of a real estate agent is and what we do to help you through the process. The truth is, we're here to guide you every step of the way and take out as much stress out of the process as possible. But why do real estate agents exist? Well, one major role of the agent that no one really talks about is to provide a degree of separation from your sale, where emotion towards your property is taken out of the equation. Like when it comes to selling anything, we understand you love your home more than anyone else on the planet. That statement carries a lot of weight. It's yours and you've made it the way that you like it. Thus, it can be very easy for emotion to creep into the deal. This can affect anything from the price a property is listed at to even potentially getting offended at a purchaser's offer, sensible or otherwise. Picture it for a moment. There'd be a lot more properties apparently worth $10 million on the market, wouldn't there? And we don't even want to imagine the auction clearance rate. So with that out of the way, let's start from the top of the sales process. What do real estate agents do here? Once a potential seller brings us in, the first step in the process for us is where we conduct the Comparative Market Analysis, or CMA for short. This is how we determine the likely value and best listing price for your property. We use our knowledge of the local market and comparable properties that have recently sold to give you an accurate picture of what your property is worth. We carefully select a list of properties in close proximity that have similar features and offerings to the one that you are selling. This is something many homeowners could do themselves with enough market knowledge, though with the speed the market can evolve in certain periods, you might end up feeling a bit more like a stockbroker at this point. There's also the pitfall some homeowners fall into of comparing against properties and streets that aren't quite what we'd call comparable. And if this happens, it can be very easy to get the wrong idea. As the cliche goes, a property is worth what a buyer will pay for it. Well, by doing a CMA, we can see in black and white what they are paying for properties like yours right now. We call this the hard evidence, and we are required by law to provide this to you. Now, before we go any further, we've just covered one of the biggest sticking points for potential vendors, the price. I'm going to allude back for a second to the point about separation and emotion towards your property. What I'm going to talk about now is the man that all real estate agents hold dear to their heart, Uncle Lewie. So who is Uncle Lewie? Well, it's very common that during an appraisal, once we've spoken about price, the homeowner might have a thing or two to say about our opinion and the evidence. It's not uncommon to hold on to the idea of a very high price, even against the hard proof that agents are bound by law to provide. Believe us when we say, the difference between ours and the homeowner's opinions can sometimes be anywhere from the hundreds of thousands and yes, even $1 million or more. It happens all the time. Now, we always ask how the homeowner came to their conclusion on value, and we are usually given one of two answers. One is, another agent came through and did this. And he told us that we'd get the price we told him we wanted all day, every day. That's a real quote from a homeowner, by the way. Naturally, we'd then ask if the agent showed up to the door with the same proof that we did, and the answer is usually either a hard no, or if they have, they've cherry-picked the comparables to mislead you into giving them your signature. All the time. Now, the second possible answer is the one all real estate agents love. That is, we've spoken to our friends and family and they believe the price should be XYZ. Quite often, the family member they're referring to is something quite comical, like my uncle who's a butcher with a shop down the road, and he's quite confident in his figure. And you know what? We all have that family member, especially if you're Mediterranean like me, you know the one. He's at all our family gatherings, he always covers exactly what the market will do over the next 10 years, and he knows with godlike accuracy exactly what your home is worth. Allow us to introduce the man, the myth, and the legend we call Uncle Lewie. Uncle Lewie is why we exist. If you have an Uncle Lewie too, we'd love to hear about him in the comments. He also may be a stock and cryptocurrency expert with a law degree. Okay, so after we've provided an opinion on fair market value, we'll next help you with actionable tips and strategies to stage your property so that it's in the best possible condition for open homes and photography. We'll provide insight into what may or may not be worth your money, time, and energy to repair, alter, or upgrade. This is an important bit of insight as it can be easy to overcapitalize on things like renovations where you may not always make a profitable return depending on the property. At this point, we've got a pretty good idea of your property's highlightable features. We then put together a bespoke marketing package at a sensible price to suit your property's value. This is where we take into account and capitalize on all those great features that will guide your purchasers down the pathway of falling in love with the property in the same way that you have. These marketing packages include things like listing on the portals such as realestate.com.au and domain, social media, professional photography, walkthrough videos, physical paraphernalia that purchasers can take home with them, and more. Once your property is ready to list, we'll send you a preview of what your listing will look like. We want to make sure that we haven't missed anything that you love about the property. From here, we're ready to start marketing the property to potential buyers through the chosen platforms in our marketing package. As we're putting all this together, we've already organized the creation of the contract of sale from your solicitor or conveyancer. And if you haven't got one yet, we can refer you to one of our preferred partners. So we're on the market. Now it's time to make the property as accessible as possible to purchasers. We do this in the form of open homes and private inspections. So what do we do here? Well, it's more than just opening the door and handing out flyers to buyers as they walk through. We ask various qualifying questions to gather critical information like where they saw your listing, how long have they been in the market, or if they missed out on anything recently, and if they're in a position to purchase regarding their finance. This is a very important step as it's crucial to get an idea of which platforms are working best for us, who your successful purchaser might be amongst them, and how motivated or far along they are in their journey. We also ask for their feedback on your property and price, which we take into account to ensure we aren't listed too far above or below the market. It's important that we represent good value to keep our property attractive to buyers and ensure a smooth and timely sale. If we're priced too high, purchasers can be too afraid to make an offer or even be at your open homes. Your time on the market will be extended, or you might even miss the boat completely in a changing market. Remember, buyers are basically doing their own CMA in their minds every day that they are looking at property. If they see another property right after yours offering similar features, but it's priced where it should be, well, they're gonna know where the value is. My favorite scary quote with a big dose of reality is, you'll actually help other properties to sell. After each open home, we'll do a callback session where we get in touch with all the purchasers that came through the day before and sometimes even the previous week. Buyers look at many homes along their journey, and at some point they begin to meld together. So it's important we stay top of mind, or else they could forget us. Now, if we've done everything correctly up until this point, we're likely to get an offer at some point during the campaign. When an offer comes through, we'll help you evaluate it and negotiate the terms of the sale. We'll let you know if we think the offer is sensible and worth considering, taking into account the current level of feedback and how the campaign has been going thus far. Now, remember Uncle Lewie? This is where he'd be having a very tough time selling the property by himself, when he inevitably gets offended that the purchaser forgot to account for the extra sentimental value provided by Uncle Lewie's water fountain that hasn't worked since 1986. At this point, he's chasing the poor buyer down the street with his meat cleaver.
Come inside.
Once again, Uncle Lewie is why we exist. Once an offer has been accepted, we usually take care of the signing and exchange of contracts before entering the cooling off and/or settlement periods. During this time, we correspond with the solicitors or conveyancers on both sides to ensure they have everything they need to solicit the sale smoothly until settlement day. We also make sure the successful purchaser has everything they need to finalize their finance so they can proceed with buying their new home. So ultimately, we're here to protect your interests, help you get the best possible outcome, and keep the process as stress-free as possible. This is all we do, and we've gained plenty of experience in navigating the complexities and difficult situations that can arise when selling a property. And that's just a general overview of what a real estate agent does. For Uncle Lewie's sake, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it informative and helpful in any way. I'm sure this won't be the last time we hear of his adventures in our content, so until next time, we'll see you then.